Kyle. How are you doing right now, man?
I'm good, man. I'm thriving. I am honestly so pumped to be here again. Like, I still don't think it's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked, a couple weeks ago after your finale, and I can't imagine what was going through your head the past few months, where not only is your season playing out, your winning season is playing out, and then we'll talk about this, I'm sure, like, when you get involved in the process for 50, now your mind sort of separates, right, into, like, I gotta get ready for an entire other thing. So what has the process been like for you to essentially live in kind of like, not even 2, 3 separate timelines at once?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I mean, ever since I left the game, like after winning, got my $1 million or won the game at least at that point, like go get married a month and a half later.
Yeah.
And then like, start preparing for the season, the cast getting to know one another. And I got involved in the 50 process way later than I think most of the people. I mean, obviously it's been going on for quite some time. But the moment that I got that call, I'd actually just gotten back to my like real fighting weight. And at that point I just started preparing like, mentally and physically again. It was nice. Like, I like playing Survivor. Watching yourself on TV is another thing. So it's kind of nice to have a distraction from, like, my own season, which I had a blast. But, like, it was nice to have something to look forward to, too.
So what does it feel like to be out here? Because we'll obviously talk about perceptions, perhaps, coming in. But to, have one of only a couple winners representing this right off the back of, again, a win that a lot of people are saying like might be one of the best in the new era. What's the headspace right now?
I'm glad to hear people are saying that. I haven't got to look at the internet yet. Literally, I mean, like won the game. The next thing you know, 50 cast leaks. So, it feels good. I was really nervous. I was nervous as shit. Like leading up to this, and then the moment we got on the plane to Fiji, I'm looking around. I'm looking at the cast. Like I felt really good. I mean, obviously, like we'll talk about the threat stuff, but like there are a lot of phenomenal players here, and I think that'll be good for me too.
Well, let's get into this threat stuff because I mean one of the many great things about your game is that you kept so many things private and strategically released those pieces. You and I talked about this. It's all public now, man. They know you're a lawyer. They know you're in a secret duo. They know what you're capable of. So how are you going to try to steer either into or against that perception out here?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I think that a lot of my game is now public. A lot of people know what I'm capable of, but I think like one thing that's really hard to show through the TV is like ego management, my own and other players. Like one of the reasons I was able to do well, one of the reasons I'd be able to succeed in life is that like people constantly underestimate me. I mean, I saw it play out. Like I wasn't on the internet too much, but like critical reception of me on the internet as my season's playing out. Like I've done all these things, yet people are saying he can't win the game.
Right.
When I say ego management, I think there's two things. First off, I mean, obviously, anybody who goes to reality TV, myself included, has a massive ego. But I think I'm willing to, like...
Lovingly so.
Yeah, I'm willing to throw that to the wayside when there's a competition at foot. And I think that, like, while people say that, like, you really haven't seen it play out like me. And so I think that I'll be able to stroke other people's ego while also, like, hiding in plain sight in sort of just a different way. I mean, Tony did it. Tony played one of the best games in 28. Yeah. We saw him doing body posture things, walking lower on the sand, wearing his buff like a fool. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off like that, but I really do think I have a way about me that makes people underestimate me.
Yeah, so, I mean, let's talk about the $1 million check attached to your name, that one, the fact that people just saw you, Is this idea of how you did last time, again, something you could use? You could, obviously, could be used as a way to get rid of you. Could also be a way to be like, are they really voting for me again? You know? Do you want to sit next to me in the end? Are they really going to make me have me join Sandra and Tony out here?
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a couple things with respect to like other winners. Of course, D and I, if we connect, I'm going to be like, hey, listen, we have to protect one another. You see what happens when Sandra goes after JT, vice versa. Everybody goes down. Whatever season that may be. But I also think like, there's like, I think this whole season is about spinning narratives, and like. Listen, there are a lot of people on this cast. We got 24 people. Like, I think over half of them have sat at the end, right? Like, I'm out there on the island. I'm saying, listen, like, a juror has something different for lunch. Like, we might have, like, 3 more winners out here, right?
Yeah.
Some people lost just by a vote. Some people got to the end, and maybe it was a little bit more landslide. But, like, everybody's capable of getting to the end on this cast. It's just about who the jury decided to reward. At least that's kind of how I'll spin things. And then, of course, this, like, stereotypical stuff, like, will people vote for me again? Will, like, all of those, like, narratives that I need to spin about my threat level. And I really do think there's going to be a lot of people who just saw me win, but still think they're a better player than I am. And, like, that's fine with me, as long as I can use that to my advantage.
Well, let's talk about some of those people. I have a game for you right now, so it's called Friend or Foe.
Okay.
So we're going to go through the cast, and you can either have them be a friend, someone that you want to work with, you're getting good vibes from, or a foe, which could be either someone you're not getting good vibes from right now, or someone you're looking to get rid of for whatever reason.
Okay.
And, well, you can provide explanations, but obviously stop down in just a couple of pre-existing relationships
Gotcha.
along the way. But let's start at the top with Jenna.
Jenna, I'll say friend.
Okay.
She has. I don't know too much about Jenna. It's been a long time since I watched the season, but I like her vibe pregame, and I think that I'm not gonna get caught up in this old era, new era thing unless it turns into one that I need to sort of look out for.
Colby.
Friend.
Okay. How about Steph?
I say friend for her too. You're gonna see a lot of themes with I think I connect with a lot of people out here, and if you want more color to it, then I'm happy to provide.
Yeah.
But I'll say friend for that. There's people that I have more color for, I think, down the line.
Yeah, exactly. You can fill in the blanks for however much you want to feel about these people, how much you want to talk about. Cirie, on that note.
I would say friend, very cautious friend.
Okay, tell me more.
A theme that I sort of have in this game is listen, I just played with one of the scariest players on my season, and I think that it's exemplary. That duo, me and Kamilla, was exemplary of what you can do when you play with a scary player.
Yeah.
Somebody who has all the tools that can play Survivor. So I'm attracted to scary people, but if they can't be a friend, in the case like Cirie, I'm going to approach her. If it works, it works. If not, I need her the hell out of here. Yeah.
On that note, Ozzy, same type of idea?
Ozzy, friend for sure, I think. If who knows? He might be trying to play a different game, so you have to have your finger of the pulse of what people's motivations are this go around. But from what I've seen, friend right now.
How about Coach?
Coach, I think, is going to be a foe.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more.
I like Coach. I've actually bumped into Coach a couple times at the Ben Katzman concerts. I actually saw Coach's band perform at Disneyland. I'm excited to see him.
I know you're a Bills fan.
He opened
for their playoffs game.
Yeah, he signed one of my Bills jerseys. That said, Coach is sort of a quiet, chaotic player. Q is somebody I'm going to sort of clump into this where I played a very predictable game, or I like to play with people who are predictable, or I can make them predictable. When I can't read people's motivations, or there might be chaos, that's scary to me. So Coach, I lump into that sort of chaotic group.
How about Aubry?
Aubry is a friend to me just because I think that even though she's a very scary, as Q put it, scary person, very intelligent, I think that she's a genuine person. I did a lot of I went back and rewatched a lot of seasons, and I think that she's looking for a genuine ally. She just hasn't had that in a while, and I think that's kind of what my game broadcasts is you want to ride with somebody to the end, whether I'm a little shady or not. I'm your guy.
How about Chrissy?
Oh, Chrissy to me might be a foe.
Okay.
For some reason, she just seems very old era coded, even though it's 35. What was the season 35? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could see her trying to be a ringleader for some sort of war. I just feel that. I don't know what it is, but I just feel that. And she really kind of has a lot of social intelligence, so it's kind of scary for me sometimes.
Let's get into our David versus Goliath people.
Yeah.
Angelina.
I'd say friend. I think Angelina wants a good ally, and I think that even though I'm sure her motivations are to be a little bit more cutthroat this time, I don't know exactly how to describe what her motivations may be.
I notice you are wearing a jacket right now.
Yes, I am. She will not be getting it. But I think that she's somebody who I could genuinely see myself working with. She seems like an authentic person at the end of the day, no matter how much she'll try to hide it.
How about Christian?
Oh God, you're gonna hate me. A friend, Christian Hubicki was the one person I wanted to see.
This is how you end up winning, man. You were friends with. You had all these connections going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be some foes.
Okay.
But I really would love to work with Christian Hubicki. I think that he's a very smart person, and smart people want to play in tight alliances.
Right.
Even though I'm sure this game will be more fluid than that.
All right, how about Mike White?
I think Mike White might be a foe for me.
Okay.
Even though I really like Mike White, I think that he might. Every now and then some people look at me smiling or being charismatic or just trying to be myself. And I think every now and then there's a couple people who think that I might be acting or putting on a show. And although I'm sure Mike and I would be friends outside of the game if we had enough time in a split second sort of situation, I feel like he might be one of those people who's why the fuck is that guy smiling so much? I think he might be one of those guys.
Interesting. I guess smiling too much, I don't know, it feels like a very elf-coded way to get rid of somebody.
yeah, but I don't know. I love Mike. That's why he's funny, is because he's a sort of a very charismatic curmudgeon in a lot of ways. At least from my understanding of watching his season.
How about Rick Devens?
I like Rick. Friend. I think that's somebody, I say Rick is a friend. He's got a great smile. He seems like I feel as if we'd like connect instantly, but I also know that like I can be a little too trusting with people like that, so I'd definitely be looking over my shoulder with him because he's the type of guy who could pull the wool over my eyes.
All right, let's get to your beloved new era here,
Yeah.
Jonathan.
I think Jonathan might be a foe, not because we'd hit it, not because we wouldn't get along, but because from what I saw in his season with Lindsay, for example, like I'm looking for allies who like we can be on the same page and like hash things out very quickly. And when I was watching his season, I was more so agreeing with Lindsay, right?
Lindsay, yeah.
Lindsay's sort of like strategic viewpoints of the game instead of his, but he kind of seemed very adamant to get his way in a lot of ways. And I don't really work well with that. But he seems like a very awesome guy.
So you said it her before. What's your perception of D going into this?
Oh, D is one of the scariest players out here. That said, I think I'm a very dangerous player in my own right. We played very similar games, multiple number ones, locked in with an alliance, rode to the end, had such deep connections that we had to sort of make very emotional, tough decisions. So I respect her game. I think I just cited her on like the Mount Rushmore of Survivor in another interview. And I like scary players. So I would like to work with D. I think we'd be great shields for one another, and it'd be a very big problem for me if we were sniping at one another, if we were to get that opportunity down the line. But again, that's a cautious ally. Like you have to, just like Kamilla, like you play with her, you play strong, but you have to look over your shoulder.
How about Emily?
Emily, this one is like really 50-50 for me because as a person, I like Emily a ton, and I think that we would work well together. That said, if I look at her motivations and like her history, like, you know, she just played with a smiley brown man. and like who knows, like she had to cut him. And you know, I can see that exact same thing playing out with me. I think people want to come in this game and they really want to like pivot just a little bit. At least me, like I have my fundamentals, but I want to pivot a little bit. And I don't know what Emily necessarily, it's hard for me to pin down what her motivations are this time or what she's looking for, I guess. So I put her right down the middle, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Let's go with your fellow Esquire, Charlie.
Charlie's a foe for me.
Oh, okay.
And like I could be completely wrong. This could be like a me chasing down Shaheen thing, but Charlie is probably he's one of the people that I wanted to imitate, and I think that I like did in a lot of ways. Under the radar game, incredibly unassuming, put his ego away where everybody else on the season was owning moves. He was constantly like taking care of business, but never owning up to it. And I think that like he, even walking around him now in pregame, like he oozes social intelligence. He like really seems like somebody who, and because his season's not as recent as mine, I think people are going to forget just about how good of a game he played.
Yeah.
And that's scary to me because like he is unassuming in a lot of ways, but he's one of the most dangerous players out here. And he could play the middle. And like as somebody who likes to play the middle, the one thing you can't have is another guy playing the middle, especially if he can call you out for it.
Yeah.
So and I think I have just bigger targets on my back just because of recency bias. So I think of him as a foe.
How about Q?
You know, Q, I wish I could say friend, but I think I have to say foe because I think Q's going to come out here and he's going to play. I think Q probably thinks that everybody's going to think he's going to be chaotic. Like Q's a very smart person. You can tell. And so he's playing 3D chess in that way. But there's just something about Q that makes me think no matter how predictable he tries to play, something's going to turn chaotic.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like, it maybe not even his fault. Just because of his reputation, I feel as if things are going to break down in a way that would be detrimental to an ally that's very close to him. So I'm going to say foe, not because I want to get rid of him, but I just want to distance myself from anything that might blow up.
How about Tiffany?
Tiffany, absolute friend. I would love to play with Tiffany. I think that she kind of fell victim to what I just explained with Q, even though they were great allies, and I think they were in a very optimal position. Tiffany was my winner pick that season. Yeah. Especially like literally right before she got booed.
Are you gonna tell her that?
I absolutely will. Because like I think Tiffany has all the tools to be like an insanely good Survivor player.
Yeah.
And I don't think she has a massive target on her back right now. And I would love to work with her because I just like her personality. She seems like somebody like, in a way, Kamilla, where I could be like, hey, I have this crazy idea. And she'd be like, let's do it. And she could execute on it.
Yeah.
And so I would love to work with Tiffany.
How about Genevieve?
I actually, you know, it's funny. My mom, the one person she told me to watch out for coming out here was Genevieve. She watched season 47, her first season, and she called Rachel her winner pick, and she was like, that Genevieve is scary. But I think of Genevieve as a friend. I have not met Genevieve. in real life, which is weird because I've met so many 47 people. But I think she's in that Tiffany bucket where, like, very scary player, has all of the tools. But, like, if you really look at her season, I think the one thing she was missing was, like, a Kyle, like a number one. I really think that Genevieve, if she just had one person who, like, throughout the entire game she could have played with, like, would have done even more damage. And she played a very good game. So I would love to work with Genevieve.
All right, now we open the Pandora's box of Survivor 48. So talk to me about Joe. What are your feelings on him? Because this is someone who you worked incredibly tightly with, got to the end with together. There could also be a version of him that's like, he just beat me in the end. What are the moments you're having with him right now?
Yeah, Joe is a really tough one for me because, like you said, we worked very closely together, and I don't think a fraction of our relationship was shown on the TV, which I'm very happy about.
That's very true, yeah.
There might be people who think that Joe may feel scorned. He might feel that way in a little bit. But at the end of the day, Joe and I were locked in an alliance. I had multiple opportunities to take a shot at Joe, and I didn't.
Right.
And I made good on a promise of taking him to the end, And so I think that Joe and I could be good allies. And honestly, I think that Joe might come back and say, I want to play a slightly different game. Joe is Joe. Joe is going to be the All-American guy. People are going to gravitate towards him at the beginning of the game. But he's not going to have people like me and like Eva and other people on our season who can kind of insulate him in the same way as soon as we get to the merge. It's going to be very scary for him. And I think that, like, a familiar face might be, at least for me, I want some familiar faces, even though it puts a target on my back. But I think in a different way than Kamilla, me and Joe getting together could actually work, I think.
So let's bring up Kamilla here. One of the many things that, again, became publicized. So what are your thoughts right now about how you're going to approach a relationship this second season?
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked to see Joe and Kamilla out here. But with Kamilla, it's a different story because it's a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. If we are talking, people are going to be scared.
Yeah.
If we are not talking, just based off of the amount of sound bites you heard about me saying we have a secret relationship, people are going to assume. And so I feel as if we just have to be normal, whatever that may look like at the point in time, unless we're on the same starting tribe, which, like, one of us has just got to go at that point. But if we meet up at a tribe swap or at a merge, I think it's just about being as normal as possible, whatever that may look like. I kind of like the phrase I've kind of coined since seeing her out here is, like, friendly defensive posture.
Ooh.
Like, I'm going to approach her friendly. I have no intentions of, like, just, like, trying to cut Kamilla for cutting Kamilla's sake.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be defensive towards her because this is her second go round. Like, whether it was amicable or not, like, I put her in fire, and so I have to watch out for her because I know that Kamilla's a game player and she could play games with me. But I also have to be defensive towards everyone else. I need to figure out what the perception of everyone of idea of Kamilla and I's relationship is, and, like, what it looks like. And, like, who knows? Maybe we, like, invent, like, hand signals or something. I don't know if we decide to work.
I was
together.
Gonna say, now not 10-second meetups, no second meetups.
Yeah.
Like, you're just signaling each other from across the map about what to do.
But we really do think the same. Even we talked at length after the game about things that we were doing, and we found out we were just doing the same thing without even talking. I swear to God. So it's really kind of crazy. I've never met somebody who, like, thinks, like, on the same level as me like that.
What are your thoughts on the 49ers at this point? These unknown variants.
I want them gone. I don't really, I don't, my coaches always used to say, like, the eye in the sky does not lie, right? Like, we have game tape on everybody except for those two. And, like, I've joked in some of my other interviews, like, Rizzo, like, his name is Rizzo. I'm sure he lost a ton of weight from playing, like, season, like, 49, just however long ago that may be. But, like, he's not, like, a behemoth of a guy, right? So, like, I'm thinking, like, is he, like, a better Rome? And they're out here on 50. So, like, he has to be good at things, right? Like, it has to be either, like, he's a great social player, great liar, finding idols, doing whatever it may be. Savannah looks very locked in, very, like, ready to play. And that's scary in its own way because, like, she just, like, they're both out here for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody out here is a professional. And so what are they professionals at? I don't know. And, like, that kind of goes to my theory of the game. I don't know how much time we have, but I've been thinking a lot about, like, how I'm viewing this. Like, I've been studying these returning seasons, heroes versus villains, game changers, second chances, winners at war. And, like, the difference, my main difference I see is that every single vote matters and every single vote has a theme or narrative. Whereas, like, you can build consensus in, like, original seasons about, like, oh, I don't like this person or their personality or whatever it may be. Every single vote in these returning seasons, for the most part, has a theme or a narrative. And I think while maybe me being a winner or affiliated with other people on my season might be considered, like, a target, I think you can spin narratives, and I kind of have this like Mafia mindset where like there's a lot of people out here who are made. Cirie's made. She's played with a ton of different people out here. The 46ers are connected. The David versus Goliath people are connected. But we have a bunch of people on this island who we don't have that much film on, and they're like solo people. It's kind of like they might be able to float through. And so we might need to take care of them. The 49ers are the primetime example of that. I like Devins, I like Aubry, I like Genevieve, Emily Flippin to a degree. But like, if I need to paint targets on people who might like have a sort of easier chance of floating through the game, I'll spin that narrative, I guess.
Well, who's one person that you wish was out for Survivor 50 as part of the cast?
Earl,
baby.
Earl.
Original King of Fiji.
Exactly. I think that like, I thought that it was going to take me a couple years to get back out here. So freaking blessed to be out here.
Yeah.
But I love it when like players play at such a younger age and they come back like very Terry Dietz-esque, like you know, playing the game in a different way. And that's what I think will be cool about Colby and Ozzy in a lot of respects. But I really wish Earl was out here because I would have loved to see what he's like. He was so intentional and thoughtful at that age. I would love to see what it looks like now.
You know how I end these things. And when we did the celebrity or fictional character loved one last year, you said Stringer Bell.
Yeah.
I'll give you another bite of the apple here. Do you want to pick another character? You want to double down on String?
I will show a little bit of my nerdier side.
Yeah.
And this one just came to mind. I'll go Luffy from One Piece.
Ooh.
Because my sort of theme this season is my last season I started
to be flexible.
Yeah, exactly. Like I started off in like fight or flight mode last year.
Yeah.
It was so like I was in so much turmoil. I don't think it really shone through. And I think the entirety of my game I was like, how do I get to the next day? How do I get to the next day?
Yeah.
But this time, like, of course I want to get to day 26, but I also want to have a little bit more fun and like take things a little less seriously than I did. And so I feel like he's the perfect guy for that. He's flexible. He's like a goofball. And like, you know, he still rallies people around him, still wins, but he also has a good time doing it.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.